Well, our resident nutritionist, Sarah De Lorenzo, is in the studio. Hello to you.
Hi, Ed.
You're the only one that noticed my haircut. Thank you. No one else cares. No one else cares. Yeah, now you all look and say, oh, he's got a haircut. They don't care. They don't care. Welcome to you.
Thank you.
It is a frenzy of eating fabulous, rich, naughty foods over the next handful of weeks.
Yes.
I have to apologise to you in advance because I'm sure you've got a lot of clients coming experiencing a bit of pain from overeating, not quite knowing what it is. In fact, around 1 in 5 Aussies experience the unpleasant symptoms of IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, at some point in their lives. I would have thought it was more of a male-dominated thing, but not so in terms of your clients.
No, definitely. I find that females under 50 are the ones who seem to be more indicated for IBS.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
Interesting. And the government sends out the sort of IBS kit when you turn 50. So
I think that's the bowel screening kit.
Yeah.
Yes, when you turn 50.
All right. So what exactly is IBS?
So IBS is alterations in bowel motions with abdominal cramping. So not every IBS case is the same.
Yeah.
I find that you can break IBS down into 3 categories. There's a mixed IBS, which is constipation and diarrhea. There's IBS-D, which is just diarrhea, and then there's IBS-C, which is just constipation. IBS is a functional disorder, and basically it's a cluster of gut symptoms, with the cardinal symptoms being abdominal pain with constipation and or diarrhea, and the accompanying symptoms are distension and flatulence. And it really is a condition that people who do have it really can suffer from it if it's not managed properly.
Is it because we're eating rubbish foods? What do we think causes it?
No, the causes are, look, it's multifactorial. It's things like food sensitivities, gut flora alterations, infection, dysregulation of the gut-brain axis, and altered serotonin signalling are the causes of IBS.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sure your clients come to you and say, I've got this unpleasant, irritable bowel syndrome. Can you help me out? What are the causes to help get over it?
Okay, so so basically, you have to. Everyone's completely different with it, but I've got the great diet for IBS. So first of all, I'll start with things to remove. You have to remove inflammatory things like red meat, alcohol, coffee, sugar. Those things have to be eliminated, as well as keep a diary of how you feel with certain foods. That's really important. There's trigger foods like onions, beans, legumes, sugar, brassica vegetables, alcohol and coffee. Look out for those and how they make you feel. Yeah. So they're the things that I recommend people remove. But the IBS diet that I suggest to people would start with definitely protein. Here we go again with protein. It's really important for digestive enzymes, as well as for hydrochloric acid production, which is an important part of the starting of the IBS treatment process. Then moving on to proteins, I recommend a fish, very easily digestible. Hydration, because of the constipation and diarrhea, hydration is essential. Then moving on to vegetables, I tell all of my patients to make sure that they cook their vegetables just not quite raw, because we need all the digestive enzymes, vitamins and minerals, and when you overcook them, they leach out. Yeah. Definitely whole grains, so that's really important for bowel health. And then moving into we've also got the Fodmap Diet, which is an internationally recognised treatment for IBS.
Right. So we've heard about the Fodmap before, and they list a whole bunch of foods that can be rather inflammatory for you and ones to avoid.
Yes. So the Fodmap Diet is fermented oligosaccharide, disaccharide, monosaccharides, and polyols. And they're broken.
Glad I asked. Yeah.
And they're broken. And they're basically people who have Fodmaps, they can't absorb certain nutrients, and so they get issues with absorption, and it's broken down into little groups called there's fructose, lactose, fructans, galactans, and polyols. And basically, when you do the Fodmap diet, it is the forefront of your life for the period of time while you do it, because you are doing an elimination process.
Right. So you're not trying to eliminate them all at once. You find
just
which ones.
Those little groups,
step by step.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But if you do it and you do find out what it is that's your problem, then you can eradicate that, and it really helps with the IBS symptoms.
Okay, now, We're just bracing ourselves for the big feast of Christmas and also the leftovers for Boxing Day. Sarah, can you help us navigate through that? If we have a bit of IBS, or can you be sort of on your way to it? Can you be sort of halfway there? You know what I mean? Or you've got IBS, that's it.
You've got IBS, that's it. Look, I'm going to say every single person I see clinically with IBS, they all present differently. There's people with mild IBS, there's people with really intense IBS that's actually debilitating and affects their personal life, their work life, their employment, and there's just people with mild IBS. But it depends on what are the risk factors that you're exposed to.
All right. Think of the Christmas feast that you would love to have. How could sufferers best cope with something like that being on their table?
Well, definitely make sure that they're taking their probiotics. So every single person that I treat for IBS, I recommend a probiotic to. It helps with abdominal pain and it also helps with symptom relief. Maybe double the dose of probiotics in Christmas Day, and also make sure you're having enough fibre, insoluble and soluble fibre. And if you don't need enough fibre in your diet, get a fibre supplement. But the importance of the insoluble fibre is it helps feed the microbiome and it helps with with formation of the stool, and the soluble fibre is important basically, or lowering cholesterol. But both of them keep you full, and they're both really important for gut health.
Yeah, you say it can affect every aspect of your life essentially. I guess you're kind of hinting that there might even be some psychological factors associated with it as well.
Yes, definitely. So anyone who has a sleep disorder, anxiety or stress, those people will most of them will suffer IBS to some degree. So it is being clinically proven and studies have shown that, yes.
Alrighty. Now, I guess we've got to really concentrate on diet for this one as well.
Yes.
Supplements as well, can they help?
Supplements is really a probiotic.
That's
and
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah. This is all about diet. It's all about what foods you can do. I get patients to definitely do things like food intolerance testing to start. I mean, it's an elimination process. It's finding that out.
How long could that whole process take to sort it out, see what are your triggers, see which things are a bit too acidic and so on, and get yourself back to 100%?
Well, it's a whole process of trial and error.
Yeah.
A minimum of 6 weeks if you do it with the Fodmaps, if you do it properly, if you're focused, if you're keeping the diet diary, if you do functional testing, maybe up to 12 weeks. But people pick it up pretty quickly. I think between 6 and 12 weeks, if you really focus on it, you can resolve it, or just learn how to live with it.
No red meat, no coffee, no sugar, no alcohol.
No.
Not much fun for 2018. And probably at least not until Easter.
You can still there's still gorgeous, yummy foods out there. What about some yummy fish?
Yeah,
Lots
true.
of vegetables.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no onions.
No onions, no.
All right. Interesting stuff. It's a hot topic, isn't it? And,
it is, yes.
And 1 in 5 Aussies at some point will experience this sort of IBS as well. So it's one to stay on top of.
Yes.
If people would like to connect with you, Sarah de Lorenzo, the sdlmethod.com is your website, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Busy for you?
Busy, yeah. Busy
All right.
and loving it.
Have a great Christmas. We might see you one more Friday before the jolly fellow arrives.
I'll be in next Friday, yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
Thanks for having me.